City volunteers in Myanmar distribute food and monetary aid to flood victims in Okkan Township. We'll look at how Tzu Chi volunteers overcame obstacles to build the first Tzu Chi dialysis center in Malaysia 20 years ago. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Siri Su. Thank you for joining us. In Myanmar, during the recent rainy season, Okkan Township has been severely flooded. Upon learning of the news, Tzu Chi volunteers from Yangon immediately went to a shelter in Okkan Township and other areas to assess the residents' conditions. They also purchased and distributed foods to the affected residents to help them get through these tough times. Okkan Township is located in a low-lying area. During rainy season, all the houses and fields in this village were flooded. The village chief is taking Tzu Chi volunteers in a canoe to survey the conditions. Then there are some residents who are still taking shelter in a monastery. Since they have limited daily supplies, the volunteers decided to distribute daily necessities. They immediately head to the market in Okkan Township to buy high-quality rice, peas, and potatoes. The shop owner gives them a discount.
We did not go to the disaster area, but we were able to help out. I'm very happy to do this.
By August 1st, Tzu Chi volunteers in Yangon and Taiki have already finished assessing the damages. At the distribution site, the residents work in relays to distribute the supplies. As Tzu Chi volunteers help them with love and respect, the residents also reciprocate the kindness by donating what they can to help other less fortunate people. Also in Myanmar, there has been a shortage of surgical masks. Since at the end of July, over 100 people have been hospitalized due to influenza. After learning about the situation, Tzu Chi headquarters in Hualien asked Tzu Chi volunteers in Malaysia to deliver masks to Myanmar. However, as it would take a long time to receive the needed visa, the Taiwanese volunteers who happened to be in Malaysia were entrusted to bring the supplies to Myanmar. Therefore, Tzu Chi volunteers from 3 countries worked together to carry out this life-saving mission.
After the influenza outbreak, people in Yangon began wearing masks to protect themselves. As many as 100 people in Chin State, Bago region, Yangon region, and Ayeyarwady region have been hospitalized because of the epidemic. At least 12 people have died.
When the patients are moved to the intensive care unit, our hospital staff will need the N95 mask to protect themselves.
N95 Tzu
Chi headquarters in Hualien learned about the situation in Myanmar through video conferencing and asked the volunteers in Malaysia to prepare 5,000 N95 masks and quick influenza test kits and other anti-epidemic items. Then the Taiwanese volunteers who are in Malaysia will deliver them to Myanmar.
It's too late for our Malaysian volunteers to get visas, but we already have them. Because we are going to Myanmar today, we can also deliver the goods to them with the plane that we're boarding today.
The hospitals and patients here need them badly, because if you normally don't prepare them, you can't buy them now. I heard the volunteers will bring them here, so I'm quite happy.
Myanmar volunteers bring the medical goods to 4 hospitals so they can relay the love and protect people's health and lives.
In the past year, 300 more needy families in Taidong County have begun to receive Tzu Chi's help. Among them, many received Tzu Chi scholarship to help their children continue studying. Therefore, the volunteers also started a tutorial class to help the students study. Let's take a look.
His farmland still needs some work, so Zhong Zhiyong cannot find odd jobs in town. He now collects recyclables to bring money home.
I'm getting old, so I can't choose jobs. I have problems with my eyes, and I'm hard of hearing.
爸爸很疼你，对不对？放学的时候他都会带我去吃东西。
爸爸赚钱很辛苦哈。那你会花钱吗？
不会。
为什么？
因为不知道买什么东西。
我已经跳你照片。
对啊，我有个女儿鸟，协会哦。协会我们出去有给我们帮忙啊。
这个靠谱在那边啊。
对，拢有靠近。
Every Saturday is the Father-Daughter Day, when the father rides with Tian from their home to the city to attend a tutorial class held by Tzu Chi.
你来这边来多久了
2个学期了。
2个学期，什么时候来的
？3年级了。
那你觉得在这边好吗？
好。
为什么？
因为不会的可以马上问老师。
还有数学还没有写哦。啊，你回去都没有写哦。你都把功课带来这边写哦。
没有啊，回去没有时间可以写。
为什么？
回家我都要顾弟弟了啦。
顾弟弟哦。
With regard to character education, it's not like I give you $165 as financial aid until you enter university. Then your character will improve. It is really impossible. I told senior volunteers that many children in Taitung still need tutorials, and I always encourage them to come even on Saturday.
这里好玩。
The tutorial class is a must to keep the students at school after Typhoon Nepatik.
In our continuing series about the people who survived the Kaohsiung gas explosion, today we meet Lin Daizhen, who suffered a spinal fracture. Due to her severe injuries, the doctor had predicted she may not be able to walk again. Nevertheless, she works hard at undergoing rehab and practices walking, all for the love of her son and her faith.
Hello, Daddy. Hi.
This place is like my kitchen. Everyone is really nice, saying hi to each other.
The market is the place Lin Daizhen visits most often. After getting here, she supports her body with her arms to prevent bed sores. Although she has a caretaker, she comes shopping for food without the help of other people.
She is nice and quite optimistic. She does not give up on herself. She is quite strong.
Lin's strength comes from the fact her good friend, who was giving her a ride on the night when the Kaohsiung gas explosion occurred, died from the accident.
Being alive, I must live well, sharing her load.
Lin suffered a spinal fracture. Back then, her son could not accept this tragic news.
When I saw the news, my aunt told me Mom had an accident. I kept crying. Mom was in the operation room for several hours. I was worried my mom would die.
妈妈会死掉。
I don't want him to live in fear. I want him to see that I am getting better.
Despite her strength, Lin also cried. Fortunately, Lin's faith gave her strength.
When I woke up, I prayed, God, please bless us so we can be safe. During rehab, I need to learn even very simple movements. When I was lying in bed, I'd say, God, please be with me during my rehabilitation.
Being severely injured, Lin might not be able to stand up again, but she stays optimistic. The only change is that she shifted the focus of her social life from her friends to her son.
After that accident, I often tell my child I love him. In the past, I would seldom say that.
She used to be fierce, but she is better now.
Since Lin suffered spinal fracture, the doctor had predicted she could only sit. However, she's now practicing walking with an assistive device. Lin works hard to step forward. All these efforts are for her beloved son.
I told him that I would stand up and take him out. We would go to the mountains and see just like before.
In our continuing series about e-learning, we have learned from past episodes about how online videos, games, and digital learning can be more stimulating for students. Does this mean that more students will stare at computer screens with remote teachers rather than interacting with real teachers in the classroom? Follow our report as we learn more about this issue.
负一降，然后我们选一个碰在一起之后变成氯化钠。
These chemical elements appear out of thin air with the help of augmented reality as this cube appears in the video screen. This teacher doesn't need to wipe the blackboard to write formulas, and students don't need to use their imagination.
The basic spirit of digital learning, which I believe to be very important, is making the work of a teacher a little easier.
E-learning has entered the campus and has become a useful teaching aid, making the work of an instructor much easier. But will further advances potentially challenge the need for instructors, potentially replacing them with technology?
Will educational technology reduce the importance of teachers? I don't think so, because the educational technology will give teachers more time, and they can be engaged in promoting other things like culture and helping guide the lives of these young students.
Grades, quality, moral character. Since the beginning, these are questions that all teachers have debated. One elementary teacher who has taught for 3 years, Ding Junjie, believes he knows what the correct ratio is.
Teaching the course material is about 10% of our work, and leading our students is about 90%. Every day I come to school, I feel as if I'm caring for my students.
Elementary schools offer comprehensive courses which put pressure on teachers to make progress. However, this teacher, Junjie, says that children shouldn't blindly pursue studies and do homework without teachers taking time to instruct them about other things in life.
老师想先跟你们讨论一件事情，你认为可以老师跟学生可以谈恋爱的举手。综合基本上就是老师拿。
Basically, teachers should teach students about life. I will discuss the book Tzu Chi's First Love Paradise because of this tragedy, and I hope that I am able to teach these children about how to protect themselves in the future.
很恐怖的那一面，那也没有人会教你要怎么保护自己。老师先跟你们说一件不幸的消息，就算你遇到跟李敏镐一样的，还是不能谈师生恋哦。19号，他为什么要这样？
Discussing current affairs leads these students to become quite lively as they raise their hand to answer these questions, and debate quickly ensues. This is something that technology cannot achieve. Now we take a look to see how this technology can be used in a university setting.
来帮我一起谢谢。
This is National Taipei Education University, which cultivates teachers, as this lesson is an exercise in counseling and meant to train future teachers. Here they sit in a circle and do some role playing.
他让我生命就只能这样啊。那你对生命的渴望是什么？我也不知道，反正我也没去看过。就这门课而言。
First of all, we must learn to see if our college students have the basic qualities to do counseling and the ability to connect with students or the ability to empathize with them.
This counseling course begins with some role playing, with one person playing a student and someone else playing a teacher. The professor constantly changes the scene and introduces new issues and see how the students can deal with it.
那还好。 不然我一听到你说职场，我真的很害怕，我也很，而且你可以想象，我会很难过。
Teachers have a difficult profession. As a student, Zhang Yaqing is learning about what it takes to be a teacher.
我觉得现在时代不一样，老师已经不再是就是传授。
I think times are no longer the same. Teachers no longer just impart knowledge, as we now need to be complete people, and we need more training. Some say that teaching is not a profession, but in fact, there is a lot of training involved.
Teachers actually imbue children with a life philosophy and personality. They are leaders and do much more than simply make use of technology.
People are not complete, and they need someone to be with them, and this is a teacher's duty. Because of this, I don't think that teachers can be replaced.
Our Eastern culture stresses that teachers are to guide people and not just teach grammar.
While technology can aid people with their studies and perhaps make life easier for teachers, there is still a need for direct interaction and the guidance and counseling offered by real teachers. This means there will always be a need for teachers who are able to undertake this important task.
20 years ago, while carrying out charity work, Tzu Chi volunteers in Malaysia discovered that a lot of care recipients needed dialysis treatment. To help these patients who usually cannot afford such treatment, the volunteers then took up the challenge to build a dialysis center to provide free services. Overcoming numerous obstacles, Tzu Chi volunteers eventually established Tzu Chi Dialysis Center in Penang, giving hope to dialysis patients. Tzu Chi Dialysis Center in Penang is the first free dialysis center run by an NGO in Malaysia. Established 20 years ago, the center currently has 99 dialysis machines. According to Malaysia's Department of Statistics, dialysis patients in Malaysia have increased 20 times, from 1,700 in 1994 to 35,000 in 2014. Back in 1990s, many patients could not afford the dialysis fees and were forced to give up on the treatment.
Most salarymen earn 1,000 to 1,500 ringgits a month. Each dialysis costs 350 ringgits, and a patient needs to undergo dialysis 12 or 13 times a month. So most people do not earn enough to afford dialysis treatment. In 1996, Tzu Chi had 135 care recipients in Penang, many of them being dialysis patients.
A lot of people needed dialysis, and they had to wait for a long time in government-run organizations. It is expensive to undergo dialysis in private hospitals, which might only have a few machines.
20年前如果要盖这个洗肾中心
To build a dialysis center 20 years ago and provide services free of charge, it is very difficult for anyone, even people in the medical sector.
病人洗免费的话，其实这个费用会很大，应该没有办法保持下去。
Building a free dialysis center is no doubt a big challenge for anyone.
透过
We began to use the money earned by doing recycling to run the dialysis center. This way, more people can support the center.
To raise funds for the dialysis center, Tzu Chi volunteers held large-scale charity bazaar and other events to gather support from the public. On August 3, 1997, the first free dialysis center officially opened in Penang. Later in 2002, Tzu Chi Dialysis Center also opened in Kedah and Butterworth, helping dialysis patients and their families battle their illnesses. Vietnam's Binh Tre province suffered a drought last year. This year, these coastal residents are now suffering from the intrusion of salt water. This has led to severe crop failure. Residents usually collect rainwater, but because of global warming, the rainy season is unstable. Drinking water now needs to be purchased. Therefore, Tzu Chi volunteers have decided to donate 250 horizontal water towers with a capacity of 2,000 liters to help poor families gain better access to clean water.
Affected by global warming, Vietnam's Binh Tre province has been experiencing severe drought for 2 years. While this year has been better, local soil has been affected by seawater intrusion, resulting in salinization. With no drinking water available, these villagers are living in misery.
Vietnam's dry season lasts for half a year. Therefore, residents must store enough water in the rainy season to use in the dry season.
In order to help residents to store water, Tzu Chi volunteers ordered 250 horizontal water towers with a capacity of 2,000 liters. They were delivered to 2 locations in Binh Tre.
Tôi rất là vui mừng được có cái bồn mà để chứa nước ngọt, nước mưa.
Last year, the drought caused salt water to come in and residents didn't have any clean water to drink. Tzu Chi has been helping us since last year and has come again to deliver water towers to the people, making us very happy.
We hope local Catholic members can teach people well about how to use the water tower, as we hope this distribution is effective. We hope the villagers can cherish this gift and improve their water quality and ensure the safety of their water quality.
Knowing that these volunteers are distributing water towers, 66-year-old Win Thi Ket couldn't sleep at night. Volunteers used a boat to send the water tower to her home, helping lift her mood.
With this water tower and several cement water tanks, we will be set with water, and we will have water for our daily life.
These stainless steel water towers are quite heavy even without water. Some folks have trouble moving at home, and many male volunteers were enlisted to help provide the service.
They really need our help. This distribution of water towers was really quite meaningful, as so many people worked hard and shared in this work. With so many people sharing and 4 people carrying this water tower together, it actually isn't so heavy.
Tzu Chi volunteers have provided 2 consecutive years of assistance to this community, helping all of the villagers of Ben Tre province improve their quality of life.
In China, Tzu Chi volunteers in Guangxi and Jiangsu provinces designed games and activities for the elderly in nursing homes so they could get some exercises. Let's join them there.
I'm delighted. Tzu Chi from Taiwan is very nice. I'm very happy.
Tzu Chi volunteers came to Lujia Nursing Home in Kunshan, Jiangsu Province to visit the elderly.
We're here once a month for only 2 hours, so we must grab the chance.
The children who came the first time have many afterthoughts.
From now on, I'll look after my grandpa and grandma. I'll massage them and chit-chat with them.
Today, the elderly move their muscles. The volunteers have designed many games. Some children even sing songs.
They chose the song Grandma's Peng Hu Bei. I have 4 kids at home, so I told them to rehearse the song.
I help grandpas and grandmas, so I feel very warm.
For those who are bedridden, they also bring apples to see them. The same warmth also appears at the Jiali Yikangxin Nursing Home in Guangxi Province. Words of greeting and caring move the elderly to tears. They look forward to meet again.
This year, Tzu Chi U.S. headquarters is working together with Alhambra School District in California to dispatch DaAi mobile food pantry and distribute fresh food, as well as school supplies and cash cards for underprivileged students. A week before school started on August 5th, a related press conference was held at Tzu Chi's El Monte Liaison Office. We'll leave you with these images at the end of our program. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.